Welcome to the Wit and Wonder Podcast, a space where we hold the sacred, the messy, the magical, and the deeply human. I'm your host, Maria, writer, mentor, and devoted student of the human experience. Each episode is a soft yet honest reflection, an offering of perspective, and an invitation to return to your inner world. Here we go. Today, we are going to be talking about self-abandonment, but in particular, emotional abandonment. And this is such a personal topic to me, only because I have experienced the greatest shift of my life in the past 3-4 years due to this topic exactly, where I had really grounded myself and found ways for myself to really connect to myself emotionally. I was in this deep practice of really understanding my emotions and really communicating with the feelings that I was having and taking action upon them rather than almost ruminating on the emotions and the thoughts that came with the fear that I was actually feeling. And in the process of developing these tools, somewhere along the line, my life kind of took a turn, and I ended up constantly finding myself in places and environments that really rejected my ability to move intuitively according to my feelings and according to my emotions. I am a very communicative person, I guess, in a lot of ways when it comes to the things that I'm feeling or the experiences that I'm having internally. And I wasn't in spaces that really were able to hold compassion or empathy or any sort of space and support in those moments. And so I definitely and 100% absolutely self-abandoned my intuitive, feeling, emotional nature in order to make sure that the other people in my space were comfortable. But not only that, but to make sure that I was comfortable, because the fear of the rejection that came from me speaking out about what I was feeling and experiencing was so painful and just as hurtful. And it was this weird cycle of feeling all these things and then feeling the rejection and feeling like I didn't have support and then going back and feeling all those things on my own. And it was a very, I don't know how else to describe it other than difficult. But I do believe that this is a really common occurrence. And I do believe that a lot of the times it's almost unrecognizable and people don't even maybe see that this is happening to them when they're constantly in spaces that do this. Because if it's a norm to you, if it's something that has happened all your life, or this is just kind of something that you've kind of surrendered to out of the belief that maybe you don't have the ability or people in your life that may be able to support you in those moments of emotional feeling, then it's going to be an odd experience. Then I guess to those similar to myself, it just becomes your norm. And the opposite of it is almost becoming really hard. What I noticed is once those environments have kind of shifted and I've kind of been slowly moving away from them, I can't say that I've completely gotten away from them yet, but as I've slowly kind of integrated more into previous versions of myself that were more emotionally available, I have noticed how hard it is to put my walls down now. And I'm almost relearning the process of opening up myself to these experiences and relationships all over again. But what I really want to talk about today is the ability that we have to really cultivate that practice of relearning how to open up. And something that I've recently done for myself that I think would be such a great reflection tool for those also moving through something similar is when you are sad and when you need to cry, the best thing that you can do for yourself, if you feel like you're not surrounded by emotionally available people or people that have the capacity to hold space for you, is to make that space for yourself. And when I say this, I mean go into your bed or go into a room, go into your car, wherever you feel safe, and just let it out. And there's a part of this process that feels terrifying. And I think that it comes from the fact that there's almost this ingrained belief that the moment that we start feeling our feelings, or we express them or surrender to them, that we somehow lose ourselves, that it's like an unsafe thing and we become dissociated, or whatever the ingrained kind of belief is there. But something that I've done is I've cultivated the trust in myself to be able to almost consciously become aware of what I'm needing, and if I need to cry, if I need space to feel, I create that space. And like I said previously, I'm not someone who's always been surrounded by emotionally supportive people. I think they all had the best intentions and they all wanted to be that for me, although that just wasn't the case. And so I am relearning how to kind of let that go. I think I was so attached to the idea that someone else had to be able to do that for me in order for me to be loved, in order for me to feel loved, because I grew up in kind of an emotional avoidant environment. And so growing up, I that's what I wanted. I wanted people to love me in that way and show up for me emotionally and support me emotionally. And to be honest, that just wasn't congruent with the path of understanding that I'm lovable regardless, and I'm most lovable for myself. And so back to what I do now, and what I've been integrating is the moments where I feel the most emotional and the most space is needed is I create that for myself. And sometimes I have a really hard time actually getting there. And so I just kind of sit there and I'm like, okay, like I'm safe. I'm okay to release. I deserve to release. And it'll come through. And sometimes it's a lot. Like sometimes I'm crying for a long period of time. Sometimes I'm screaming into pillows, and I don't think we need to judge what it looks like. I don't feel like that's something that really should be of concern. This is such a human experience, and it's something that the part of us that needs to heal and needs to release this wants to experience, which is such an interesting thing, because that's another kind of self-talk tool I've used is while this is happening, and anytime I think about stopping, like I need to stop crying or I should stop crying, like when those thoughts start coming up, I actually affirm to myself that I deserve to experience this, that I deserve to experience the part of myself that wants to cry, that wants to feel deeply, that wants to release the emotions that I've been hiding. And it becomes this really beautiful, sacred, almost ritual that I've created for myself to be able to just experience my life and my essence so deeply that it becomes a safe place. It becomes safe for me to kind of not have any thoughts and not have any prejudice around the experience itself. And I just get to experience myself so presently that the length of time that I'm crying for, the length of time that I'm yelling for, whatever it may be for you, I'm not sure, but that it kind of dissolves. I don't even pay attention to time because I'm just so allowing myself to be loved in that moment. And I give myself a hug, like I'll wrap my arms around myself, or I'll surround myself by pillows. And I don't know if you guys have ever used like weighted blankets, but that's also a really good tool if you're someone that's sensation based. But this practice becomes so sacred in understanding that you're so deeply loved by your own consciousness. And not only that, but it reestablishes a sense of trust in the emotions itself. So if you're somebody that has abandoned your emotions and has become emotionally unavailable due to circumstances or any sort of experiences that you've had, this is something that reestablishes the trust that you have in your ability to feel and your ability to hold that and have the capacity to do that for yourself. It's also super essential that we remember that if we can create that capacity for ourselves, if we can feel safe within ourselves, then it opens us up to also feeling safe in the presence of other people and trusting that other people can have that same capacity to be able to hold us. And it makes our relationships a bit deeper or more available. And it starts to reflect in a lot of areas of life. And maybe some doors will end up closing and some may be opening. And it's almost this metamorphosis, of what it's like to love parts of ourselves that we haven't been able to love in a long time. So this episode is really, we're kicking it off. This is the first episode, and what's so crazy is I've actually recorded probably like 3 first episodes and ended up deciding that they weren't the energy that I was looking for. They were so reflective of past versions of myself, and I really was just hoping that I could come on here and speak to something that, one, I've experienced, and 2, that I want other people to hear and relate to, and also just be able to motivate you to be that person for yourself. That's truly all I've ever really wanted to do, is to speak to people and remind them that they're so powerful in what they're able to offer, and not only offer to other people, but offer to themselves. That's something that I'm deeply learning and that I really want to share with you. So this is the episode we've landed on, and I am so excited that this is the topic, because it's really the basis of everything that I do, is becoming more available for myself. And yes, this episode itself was about emotional abandonment and creating safety emotionally for ourselves. I hope that, or the plan, I guess, is that in the future I'll talk more about the physical aspect of the relationship we have with ourselves, showing up for ourselves in ways that are more tangible in terms of our work or our creativity, things like that. And yeah, so that's what I have in the works. But for this episode, I just wanted to really touch on the fact that your feelings and your intuition are so lovable, and they're incredibly important to the experience that we have here on Earth and as human beings. And I'm just so excited to be able to reiterate to you that you deserve to experience those parts of yourselves, and you deserve to have like such a deep relationship with yourself. And if the experience is scary, that's okay. Like it's going to take time. It might take practice, or maybe you're going to go all in all at once, which if you feel safe doing that and you feel like you have the capacity to do that, then I am definitely here and I'm supporting you and cheering you on. We're all at different stages of this, and we all move through our emotions and our feelings so differently, and they all show up in our body differently. And I really don't know what else to say other than that. You're just so deserving of experiencing yourself, and that's really the message I hope to get to you. I look forward to meeting you again on the next episode of Wit and Wonder Podcast. My name is Maria, and I am so grateful that you were here and that we got to spend this time together, and I look forward to reconnecting soon. Thank you for sharing this time with me, for being here, for feeling, and for exploring the depths of your own heart alongside mine. If today's episode resonated with you, you'll find a few powerful affirmations in the description, crafted to support your journey of self-connection and emotional safety. Be sure to follow or subscribe so you'll be notified when the next episode is released. And until next time, I am sending you so much love. Take care.